set to get underway here in Sweetwater, with Sweetwater playing Philadelphia at Sweetwater. And that first pitch misses down and in for ball one, as Caden's at the plate for your Warriors. That second pitch is outside for ball two, which brings your count to 2-0 here in the first. That next pitch misses down and away for ball three, which brings you count to 3-0. Hitter's count. Just Ryden steps back in there. And that ball's down the middle for strike one. 2 Ridings. As Murphy is on the mound for Sweetwater with Hauser behind the plate. The next pitch misses outside for ball four, as Caden will be your Warriors' first man on the bases here in the first, which will bring up 0-0 Nolan Bethel and put Murphy in the stretch. And Correa will be on deck. That first pitch is outside for ball one to Bethel. As Caden takes a sizable lead over at first, with Tyler Oates holding him on at first for Sweetwater. Nolan squares to bunt, pulls it back as Caden takes off to second, and that throwdown is there, but skips away from the shortstop, and Caden holds his ground there at second. So we have a runner on second here in the first. 1-1 count to Bethel at the plate with no outs. Now ball's up in the zone. Give us a 2-1 count to Bethel. That ball is also outside, which brings the count 3-1. So hitters count. Let's see if Nolan looks behind a pitch he can drive. And that ball's down for the second walk of the game, which will put 2 on for your Warriors with no outs and bring Sebastian Correa up, who had the game-winning single Tuesday night against Sweetwater in a walk-off fashion in 7 innings. So you'll have Bethel at first and Ridings at second, and that first pitch misses outside for ball one. And runners take their leads. That ball's driven to right center. It's sinking back to the right fielder, and he misplayed that one as he got down for a stand-up double for Correa, which brings Ridings in from second, and Nolan advances from first to third, and your Warriors go up 1-0 in the first with no outs. And that will bring up Jaden Capshaw for your Warriors with runners on second and third. And that ball is outside for ball one. Upshaw has a now 2-ball advantage as that ball misses down and away for ball 2. So your Warriors looking to add on here in the first, and that ball's in the dirt for ball 3, and so he will have the 3-0 advantage and look for something that he can drive. And that ball that's down the middle for strike 1. As Jaden watched that one come across the plate for strike 1. That gives you 3-1 count. And that ball misses outside for ball 4, which will load the bases for your Warriors as Coach Oakes calls a timeout for Sweetwater to talk it over with his Wildcats. As that will bring up Branson Black to the plate for your Warriors. Here in the first, you have no outs, bases loaded, as your Warriors have a 1-0 lead as Branson Black steps to the plate. And Murphy toes the rubber and gets ready for his fifth batter of the afternoon, and that ball misses outside for ball 1. And Sweetwater defensively is not holding any other runners on as they prepare to come home. And that ball is in there for strike 1 to even the count. 1-1 for Branson. And that ball swung on and fouled off down the first base line for strike 2 for Black as he comes back. Try to get something going here for your Warriors here in the first with bases loaded and no outs. And the pitch. That ball is up in the zone for ball 2, which will even our count here at 2-2 with no outs. Branson steps back in. And that ball is down in the dirt as Hauser blocks it up nicely to keep the runner at third. Tosses it back to Murphy, which will give you a full count here. And we are awaiting the payoff pitch. Ball is down the middle for strike 3 as Branson gets caught watching for the first out of the inning, and so your Warriors still will have bases loaded, but with 1 out here as Costner steps to the plate. And that first pitch is ball. Bryson bunts that ball kind of in no man's land, and it looks like it's a bang-bang play, but he is called out. And that advanced Nolan to home. And that run will score as Bryson was thrown at it first, and Capshaw got too far off the bag as Oates came across and threw to shortstop Richardson for out number 3.
It was okay.
So we'll enter here the middle of the first with your Warriors leading 2-0. Pick it up.
No, just get upside down. See what you're doing.
There it goes.
Has that got a microphone on it too?
That's right.
Get my chair and sit down.
And so defensively for your Warriors, you will have Caden Ridings on the mound with Udi at third, Nolan Bethel at short, Jaden Capshaw at second, Black will be at first with your outfield. And left, you have Ben McIntosh, center field Bryson Costner, and in right field you'll have we've got Max Russell.
And behind the plate, Sebastian Correa.
Up to bat for Sweetwater.
To lead things off for them will be number 3, Cooper Davies, followed by number 23, Caden Hauser.
And we're finishing up the warm-up pitches as Correa throws down to Bethel at second. And the ball will work its way back to
Ridings to get things started here.
So again, still in the first. Your Warriors have a 2-0 lead as Cooper Davies steps to the plate. And that first pitch is grounded on to shortstop, and Nolan booted that ball as Davies
Reaches safely on an error by Bethel.
Up to bat now, 23, Hauser, with 15 Richardson on deck. And so Davies takes the lead over at first. And that pitch misses just a little up and inside for ball 1. And that ball misses outside and away for ball 2. Caden takes a sign, he delivers. That ball's in the dirt and skips away from Correa as he corrals it. And Davies scoots to second. And so with a 3-0 count, Davies is at second.
with Hauser at the plate. And Hauser squares to bunt, and that ball is down the middle for strike one. So Ridings will go back to the stretch with a 3-1 count here in the first. And that ball is inside for a strike to Hauser, who is essentially on the plate for strike two, which brings us to full count here in the first. And the pitch, that ball is hit down the first base line as Black backpedals and makes the out on the pop fly, and Hauser is retired with a fly out to first. And that brings up number 15, Richardson. Runner stays at second with one out for your Warriors. And the pitch. That ball must have just missed outside for ball one. Pretty good pitch for ball one. And that ball's in the dirt and skips away from Correa as Davies hustles over to third. And so with one out, 2 balls, no strikes, Davies on third, and 1 out. Your Warriors look to try to get out of a pickle here and keep that runner from advancing. And that ball slips out of Riding's hands, and it brings us to a 3-0 count. That ball is down in the dirt as Richardson takes the walk and hustles down to first. And so you'll have a runner on first and third with 1 out as Murphy steps to the plate for the Wildcats. Ridings in the stretch. Eyes Richardson at first as he delivers. That ball is just a bit outside for ball one. Like I mentioned last game, our pitching staff is quite strong. As we progress through March here, you'll start to see these guys find rhythm and start finding the strike zone a little bit more. Takes a little while to get your legs under you as a pitcher and find your groove. And I believe they'll do that here shortly. And that ball hit hard down the first base line for a single as we have confusion from Richardson, who scampered back to first base for some reason and was tagged. And so we have a lot of confusion, but it should be Richardson out for coming back to second as first base was occupied. And that's what we wind up with as Richardson's
Out at first, which will essentially be a gift for your Warriors as they steal an out
from the Wildcats. And you have 2 outs here.
In the first, with a runner on first.
That ball misses down for ball 1. And that will bring Key up.
For the Wildcats. That ball misses down in the zone for
Ball 2.
That was a good looking pitch there, but that ball is fouled back towards us. Out of the way.
For strike 1.
As Caden comes set. Eyes first. That ball is a little up in the zone, which will bring your count to 3-1.
We need to find this out here.
And get back to the dugout so we can get our bats going. And that's a good looking pitch right there as it's hit to short. Nolan bobbles
But stays with it
for the force out.
at second.
And that's 3 away for your Warriors as they get back to the dugout.
To start the second.
Looks like
To bat for your Warriors will be number 25, Udi. Breyer had a really good game on Tuesday against Sweetwater.
with a key hit there in the 7th to keep the inning alive.
So Hauser defensively will stay behind the
Plate
as Murphy will go in to pitch for the Wildcats. And Max Russell will be on deck for your Warriors.
Yeah. Case to charge. Don't know how it that with the
Microphone.
yeah, and just charge it for
An inning or something. We are set to go here in the second as Udi steps to the plate. That first pitch is in there for strike 1.
as Murphy starts off ahead in the count. Now ball's up and in as Udi
Stretches back out of the way.
to even the count at 1-1. Now ball's down and away in the dirt for ball 2, and Udi's done a really nice job standing in there and taking some good at bats and cuts against some of the older competition, and he has not shied away one time. And that pitch swung on, fouled it back in the mid for strike 2, as he was on time there, just a little bit low. So that'll bring your count to 2-2. As that ball's way inside. And brings us a full count here in the second. Breyer fouls that one away. Your count will stay full as Murphy gathers the ball. He gets set for a payoff pitch. And that ball is up in the zone as Breyer draws the second inning walk. And so with no outs, Max Russell steps to the plate here in the second with Breyer Udi on first. As Max squares to bunt, now ball's way outside as Hauser stretches out to bring that one back. On deck for your Warriors is number 22, Ben McIntosh. Ball is up for ball 2 as Max ahead of the count, 2-0. Max squares to bunt and fouls that ball off for strike 1. Back in as Murphy gets set to deliver. And that ball is swung on and fouled back for strike 2. So that ball's a little up, but something Max liked and chased and put a bat on it. So he's being aggressive. And so your count is full at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the pitch is down the middle as Max fouls the ball off. And he is staying alive here in the second. Murphy gets ready for the pitch, and that ball is up for ball 3, which brings your count full to Russell with no outs here in the second inning, and your Warriors lead 2-1. And that ball's down the middle as Max watches for strike 3. And so that will bring up Ben McIntosh for your Warriors with 1 out and a runner on first. And on deck, we'll roll us back over with Caden Ridings on deck. And that ball's fouled off down the first base line as Ben jumps on the first pitch.
Oh, buddy.
ball's outside, and Udi gets caught leaning and gets back safely to first. And that will even your count to McIntosh, 1-1.
Confident 2-2. Confidence.
Looked like Udi was thinking about taking second should that ball have skipped away from Hauser behind the plate. And that ball is hit out in front, so first base has to come up and field that as he picks it up and throws to first to retire McIntosh. And McIntosh moves
Standing alive, buddy.
Udi to second. And so your Warriors will have 2 outs here in the second. 2-1 lead, and Udi is at second. Caden steps in the box, calls for time, steps back out. As he'll reset here. And Murphy will be in the stretch still for the Wildcats. That ball's outside corner of the plate for strike 1. 2 Ridings. And that pitch is up in the zone for ball 1, which will even the count 1-1. Like Murphy was trying to throw a curveball and didn't quite get on top of it. And that ball's in the dirt and scoots away as Udi scampers to third. And so with 2 outs, you'll have a runner on third in scoring position if Ridings can put the ball in play here for your Warriors. And he steps back in the box with a 2-1 count. Murphy sets and delivers for a strike, which evens the count 2-2.
Confident 7. Confident 7. Here you go. All day, 4. All day. What you gotta do?
And Ridings readies. And that ball is driven deep to center as it's off the fence for a stand-up double for Ridings, which will bring home Udi for your Warriors' 3rd run of the game. And that will bring to bat 0-0 Nolan Bethel. As Murphy sets. That ball was a little outside and up for ball 1. Murphy steps off, eyes Ridings back towards second, and we'll do it again. That ball is on the inside half for strike 1 to Bethel.
Here you go, 0-0.
It's Murphy readies. That ball's in the dirt as Hauser blocks it nicely to keep it in front of him and keep Ridings at second. To bring your count to 2-1 to Bethel. And Murphy steps off again to push Caden back to second. And that ball is driven back up to the middle as Richardson bobbles it and throws it into the dugout wall.
for an infield single for Bethel here in the second. We're going to bring up Sebastian Correa with 2 outs. Runner on first and third here in the second inning. Correa hit one to right center his first at bat for a double. Let's see if we can keep things going here for your Warriors. And Nolan takes off, and he'll be up standing with the catcher indifference as there is no throw. So Bethel moves up to second, and Ridings will stay at third. That ball's inside to Correa for ball 2. And he really needs to pitch here to Correa because you've got Capshaw looming on the on-deck circle as that ball's pulled for ball 3. So Correa has a 3-0 count here in the second with runners on second and third. And he has the green light, I guarantee you. As he watches strike 1. So Sebastian will step back in with a 3-1 count with 2 outs. And he hits that ball up in the middle, and Richardson fields that in the hole and throws over to first to Oates for out number 3. And so we'll go to the middle of the second with your Warriors leading 3-1. And we'll fill us in on our defensive alignments here in just a second. So defensively, it looks like everyone stays in their original positions from the first, with Udi at third, Bethel at short, Capshaw at second, Black at first, Costner in center, McIntosh in left, and Russell in right. As Sweetwater has number 99, Oaks, up first here in the second.
You already did. You can't beat that, then
second week after spring break.
I'm being rude. I'm sorry.
Be nice. Let me try to see if I can find a double head splitter.
Yeah. I know the game is not like
I've been looking in the mailbox all day. I mean, I went up there like 4 times.
they in charge ours likes to play by
Yeah,
play.
and I'm
It's
going
gonna add
to
value to
I
it.
did play-by-play in the field, but I just don't know if like that last inning
I said that ever since.
let him take it.
He said he thought he was gonna go, but he was gonna go on.
As Correa throws the ball down, we'll get ready here in the second as your Warriors lead 3-1. And Tyler Oaks, number 99, steps to the plate for the Wildcats. And Ridings toes the rubber and is ready to deliver. And that ball is down the middle for strike one to Oaks. And pitch number 2 breaks in there, but just a little high for ball 1. I believe if he threw that pitch again, he'd probably get that one to strike. And that ball's down the middle, but a little low for ball 2. Which brings your count 2-1. Ridings pitch inside in the dirt, which brings the count to 3-1 for Ridings. Settle in here and let him put it in play and let our defense work here. And that ball's behind him for ball 4 as Oaks will take the leadoff walk here in the second, which will bring up 33 Keith Gentry for the Wildcats with Oaks on first. And Ridings will go to the stretch. And that ball is swung on and missed by Gentry for strike number 1. And he took a big league hit at that one. As Ridings eyes Oaks back to first, and the pitch spit outside as Correa throws down to first to keep Oaks honest, which will even us up here 1-1 as Ridings gets ready. And that ball is hit on to short. Short flips to second. And
He turned.
and they try to roll a double play, and Capshaw's throw was just a little late as Gentry hustles down the line, and stumbles over first base and falls into first base territory. And Black tags him, and the umpire calls him out for turning into fair play. And Coach Oaks for Sweetwater calls timeout so he can go out and discuss that play with the field umpire. And did not change the field umpire's mind, as we will keep 2 outs here in the second. And that will bring to the plate number 20, Landon Gentry. And so your Warriors will have no runners on here in the second with 2 outs. And Caden throws first pitch in there for strike 1, as Gentry was a little late on that cut. And Ridings delivers. And that ball's fouled back for strike 2 to Gentry.
4-7.
And Caden's really settled in here in the second and has done a really nice job of keeping that ball consistently over the plate. and hitting his spots. And that ball's fouled back to Correa, who hangs on to it for out number 3 off of a foul tip. A great snag by Correa and a great strikeout for Ridings. And so we'll move to the third with your Warriors up 3-1 against the home team, Sweetwater Wildcats. Turn your shoulders.
It wasn't that he stumbled that way. He got up and kind of moved towards it and then realized he wasn't out. I think he was running back to the dugout because he thought he was out.
He thought he got it.
I don't know if it was a judgment call, whether you thought he was really trying to make a move towards second.
It was a pretty good little toss across there.
It's a good stab by him. He's
pretty decent.
First base, man.
Pretty decent all around. So as Sweetwater takes the field and gets their warm-up tosses, defensively they will stay the same, as Murphy will stay on the mound for the Wildcats for his second inning of action. And that will bring up your Warriors number 16, Jaden Capshaw, followed by Branson Black and Bryson Costner. Sweetwater throws down here, and we are ready to get underway to start your third with a 3-1 lead for your Warriors. First pitch is outside for ball number 1 to Capshaw. And that ball's in there for strike 1 for Murphy, which will even your count 1-1. Capshaw hits that ball in the gap between short and third for a single to start your Warriors off here in the third. Nice piece of hitting there by Capshaw, and staying back and just putting it where he placed it and driving that ball through the hole. That will bring up number 17, Branson Black, here in the third with no outs, and Capshaw on first. Capshaw takes off and slides in feet first for a stolen base for Capshaw. Branson struck out first inning looking, and now we have Capshaw in scoring position and a good bat at the plate. And Branson takes a cut at it to even the count, 1-1. As Murphy sets. And Branson fouls out, back out of play for strike number 2. And he's being aggressive. He wants to get Capshaw across the plate for your Warriors. as Murphy toes the rubber and gets ready to deliver. And that ball is up and in for ball 2, which will even the count for Black. And that ball's fouled off Black's foot. And he'll come back and do that one again with a 2-2 count. And those hurt, I can tell you from experience. As Branson steps back in for your Warriors with no outs. And that ball is cut on and missed by Branson for out number 1. And that brings up number 33, Bryson Costner, for your Warriors, with Capshaw on second and 1 out. And Bryson puts down another good bunt as that ball is thrown a little high, which pulls first baseman off, and Capshaw comes around and scores from second off that sacrifice bunt by Costner. And that will bring number 25, Briar Udi, up with 2 outs here in the third. Coach Oaks calls time and came to discuss the previous play with the home plate umpire, who's now went out to the field umpire to discuss it. Only thing I saw there was possible interference by Coach Costner at third, but as long as he doesn't make any contact with the runner, all's well. And it looks like they're saying he did make contact, and so they're putting him back to third. But if he did indeed make contact with Coach, he should have been an out. But it looks like they're going to put him back to third, which will take a run off the board for your Warriors. And the coaching staff for your Warriors is now questioning that call as well. And so Coach Costner's arguing the call. And so that should put Capshaw back to third, and we'll have 2 outs here in the third. And so now they're saying that Capshaw is now out, which should be the right call if there was contact with the third base coach for out number 3. And so that will bring your Wildcats to the plate and put your Warriors back on
defense as Ridings is going to stay in for your Warriors at pitcher, and defensively looks like we're going to stay the same as well.
I have $10 over there.
No, he swung wide.
I actually don't know. Actually, I have some right there. Here.
Totally wrong, Greg. You know it. There's no way you're watching that. No freaking way. Just because he said it, you're going to call it that? That's crap, Greg. You know it. That's crap. That is crap. You know it.
How did he go back from runner on third to 3 out?
Strikeout and half. The one you didn't see. I did see it. Oh, and you were looking right there at the player. Oh, you wasn't. Any home plate umpire would have been looking over there. You're wrong and you know it.
And so that puts your score back to 3-1 as your Warriors pull themselves back together here in the third.
I have 3? How do I change it then? Just keep going.
And Correa throws down to Bethel, which will bring up number 20, Miser, for the Wildcats.
All right, here we go.
As Miser steps in, and Ridings delivers, and that first pitch swing and a miss for strike one. As Miser was behind and out front on that one. And that ball is hit back to Caden, and Caden picks it up and tosses over to Black for out number 1 for your Warriors.
7.
Which brings up number 2, Rockont, for Sweetwater. Ridings really seem to settle in here. Just throwing a really good game. And that ball misses outside for ball 1. And that ball's way inside as it hits Rockholt as he is hit by a pitch and trots down to first. Which will bring up number 3, the leadoff hitter for the Wildcats, number 3, Cooper Davies.
I remember back in high school. I was like, what? They did that back then.
As Ridings is in the stretch, Rockholt takes his lead at first, and the pitch as Davies squares to bunt, and they say he pulls back for ball 1. And the pitch is down in the dirt, blocked up by Correa for ball number 2. As Coach Curtis calls time to go out and talk with Ridings and settle him down here in the third. He is pitching a really good game. Just needs to settle in and just keep throwing strikes and let his defense work behind him. As Curtis finishes up his conversation and walks back to the dugout, we will have 1 out, 2-0 count to Davies, and Rockholt at first.
here in the third. As Caden sets ready. And that ball misses outside for ball 3. Cooper reached in the first off a ground ball to Bethel, as that pitch is thrown in there for strike 1, which brings your count to 3-1. And that ball is inside for ball 4, as Davies will take the 1-out walk to put runners on first and second for your Wildcats. And that will bring Hauser to the plate. And that ball breaks in there for strike 1. As Redding starts out ahead. The ball's bit outside, sneaks past Correa, but he corrals it quickly to keep the runners at first and second. As Reddings toes the rubber here in the third. And that pitch is fouled off for strike 2, and Ridings will take the advantage with a 1-2 count to Hauser at the plate. Another hook that got away from Correa and to the backstop, and all runners will move up a base. So that'll put runners on second and third with 1 out, and 2-2 count to Hauser. And at this point, we just want to limit damage and get out of the inning. And that ball's hit hard to shortstop. And Bethel comes up with it, fires across to first for the out. Number 2. But run will score for the Wildcats, which makes your score 3-2 Wildcats here in the third, and brings Richardson, or 15, to the plate for the Wildcats with 2 outs. And that ball scoots away as Davies scampers back to third, and Correa corrals it quickly. And the pitch just a bit outside and down for ball 2. As Richardson takes the advantage at the plate for the Wildcats. Oh, that ball looked like it broke back, but home plate umpire felt it was still up in the zone. Ball 3. And the pitch. That ball's fouled off over the first base fence for strike number 1. And so we'll throw another ball in and do it again with a 3-1 count to Richardson. As Ridings toes the rubber and delivers. And that ball's hit hard to Capshaw as he comes up cleanly with it and tosses to first for out number 3 of the inning. And so, with one walk, no hits, one hit batsman, the Wildcats were able to push across 1 run, but your Warriors still lead 3-2 to start off the 5th. It looks like we'll have a pitching change for the Wildcats as they will send Cooper Davies to the mound to start the 4th inning and put number 42 Key behind the plate. As Davies gets loose here in the 4th, your Warriors will have up number 25, Briar Udi, number 13, Max Russell, and number 22, Ben McIntosh. And Davey finishes up his warm-up tosses as they toss it down on the next pitch.
Thank you. What is this?
And so, to start the 4th, Briar steps in, and that ball is inside for ball 1. That ball's up and out for ball 2 to Udi. Ball's down in the dirt for ball 3 as Udi will have a tight strike zone here in the 4th as the Warriors look to get something going. And that ball's in there for strike 1 to Udi. He's still ahead with the 3-1 count. And that ball is up and out for ball 4 as Briar starts off the 4th just as he did in the 2nd with a leadoff walk. Max Russell comes up to the plate. The runner on first. Max struck out looking in the 2nd and looks to redeem himself here in the 4th as he squares to bunt, and that ball's inside and he's hit by a pitch.
Aggressive here, 2-2.
And that'll bring Ben McIntosh up with runners on first and second and no outs, with Caden Ridings in the hole as Ben lays down a bunt, and it's a beauty as the pitcher fields it and throws it into right field, and Udi comes in to score, and everyone advances one. And that'll bring another run across for your Warriors and roll us over in the lineup. So with no outs, you'll have Max Russell at third and Ben McIntosh at second on a throwing error by number 3, Cooper Davies. And that ball is called strike one. Down in the zone. As I'm sure you heard, Coach Curtis was not happy with that one. And that ball sweeps in there for strike two. Has 2 strikes here against Ridings. And just needs something in play. So that ball's thrown a little high and over the catcher's head to the backstop. For ball 1, which puts our count to 1 ball, 2 strikes to Ridings. And that ball is also up a little for ball 2 to Ridings, which evens the count to 2-2. That pitch was swung on and missed, and since first base was not occupied, Ridings takes off to first and steps on first base awkwardly and goes down. And hopefully he's just cramping. So we hope he's okay. Boys are giggling in the dugout, so it looks to be just a cramp, leg cramp, as McIntosh moves to third and Max Russell comes home, and that'll bring 0-0 Bethel up to the plate with Sebastian Correa on deck. Looks like they're carrying him over into the dugout. And number 20, Talon Costner, will pinch run for Caden Ridings. And so with no outs, they will run on first and third. And Bethel steps to the plate. And he was walked in the first and singled in the second. That ball's in the dirt. For ball 1, as there was some confusion by Costner at first as to whether to go or stay, and elected to go back to first as he fouls away strike number 1. Which evens your count at 1-1. Davies delivers. Now ball is up in the zone for ball 2. And the pitch by Davies is outside for ball 3.
And so Bethel's looking for his pitch here. And we don't want to do anything silly here with Correa on deck. And that ball is called for strike 2, which evens the count. Excuse me. Brings the count full as Davey steps on the rubber. And that ball is in the dirt for ball 4 as Nolan draws his second walk of the day. And that brings up number 42, Sebastian Correa, with bases loaded. Coach Oakes for Sweetwater calls timeout and wants to talk it over with his Sweetwater Wildcats. And Davies will stay in at pitcher for Sweetwater as everybody goes back to their positions, and Correa steps to the plate here in the 4th.
What's up, Grizzly? Get some length on that chin.
Again, for some of these boys, this is a little bit of a homecoming because many of these young men have played for Sweetwater, Dixie Youth, over the years. Before Loudon began their Dixie Youth, and that first pitch is down in the dirt for ball 1. And Davies readies. And that pitch is again down in the zone and scoots away from the catcher. And Davies has thrown a lot of pitches here in this 4th inning. And Key is working hard behind the plate. And that ball is up in the zone for ball 3. And there's nowhere to put him here, as a walk will score a run for your Warriors. And that ball is in for strike, which brings your count to 3-1. That ball is outside for ball 4, which will score Ben McIntosh. And Coach Oakes for Sweetwater will call time to make a pitching change.
That's all you got to do. She can ask.
And it looks like he's going to make a change here in the 4th, and your Warriors have no outs, 6 runs. And Sweetwater Wildcats have 2.
You ever play football? Really?
So it looks like Kay Hauser will come in to pitch for the Wildcats. Here in the 4th with bases loaded and no outs. And Davies will stay in defensively as Jaden Capshaw is set to hit. And so on the base pass, we have Alan Costner, who's pinch running for Caden Ridings. Nolan Bethel at second. And Sebastian Correa at third with Jaden Capshaw. He will be at the plate here shortly. And Branson Black will be on deck here in the fourth. As looks like King Hauser is ready, and Capshaw will step in the box. Jaden has walked and hit a gem in the gap in the third and stolen a base here. With bases loaded and no outs, he has the opportunity to be selective and try to get the pitch he wants to drive. And that ball's in there for strike one from Hauser, which evens the count, 1-1. Infield fly will be into effect here. And so runners need to be weary of anything in the air. Make sure that they don't get caught. That ball's fouled away for strike two. Bring your count 1 ball, 2 strikes. Capshaw calls time. Steps out to gather himself. That ball hooks in there for strike 3 as Capshaw was caught looking. That curveball really came back on him for out number 1. And so you'll still have bases loaded here with 1 out. And Branson Black up, who struck out twice here tonight, as that first pitch is outside for ball 1. That pitch scoots away as Costner stays at third and gives Branson 2-0 count. As Hauser readies the pitch. That ball is just off the plate for ball 3. And Branson has the opportunity to be really selective here. As that ball misses for ball 4, and Branson will take the walk as that brings across another run here in the 4th. And so Bryson will come up, and he's had 2 beautiful sacrifice bunts today, 1 in the 1st, 1 in the 3rd. As that ball is up and in for ball 1. And so your Warriors have 1 out here, bases loaded, with Costner at the plate and Udi on deck. And he squares to bunt, and pitcher fields it and bobbles it, and everyone is safe as Bethel comes home to score. Which brings our score 7-2. Bases loaded with Udi at the plate. And in the same inning, he led off the inning here in the 4th with a walk. And his first pitch there is a ball 1. That ball misses outside for ball 2.
All right, here it comes, 2-5. Here it comes.
And Udi's done a really nice job tonight staying in there and battling. and he's drawn 2 really nice walks. And that ball's in there for strike 1, the 2-1 count. And he is not afraid to pull the trigger and take some hacks, get that ball in play. As he does just that and pops the ball up, and that ball hits the grass, and everyone will be safe, as that ball was just over second baseman's head, out of reach of the shortstop and short of center field, as Udi will reach. And that brings another run across to bring us to 8-2. And so Max Russell will come to the plate. And that ball's in there for strike 1. The ball misses outside, evens the count, 1-1. That ball's outside for ball 2.
Be confident, Maxie.
This game slowly slipping out of Sweetwater's grasp here in the 4th. As that's ball 3. And Max. And that ball's up in the zone for ball 4 as Bryson crosses the plate to give your Warriors 9. And that will bring Ben McIntosh up,
Be aggressive here, buddy. You got to come at you.
who's grounded out
Early and
and
often.
sacrificed bunt in this same inning. And that first pitch to McIntosh is called strike 1.
No step
Your
back.
Warriors have 1 out here in the 4th, and bases loaded. As McIntosh takes a good cut at that ball for strike 2 and falls behind in the count, 0-2.
Unload. Here we go. Unload. Quick.
As Hauser readies on the mound and goes for a pickoff move and throws to Richardson at second, but he was not covering the bag. And everyone's back safely.
Confidence, 2-2. Have fun, buddy.
And McIntosh steps back in the box.
What you doing, boy? Fall down, hurt yourself.
And he puts the ball in play. And that ball's caught by the second baseman, and runner got a little far off the second base as they
Hey, come here.
flipped it over and caught him
Easton.
not tagging up.
Where's Nana?
And so that'll be 3 outs for your Warriors. As we go into the middle of the 4th, your Warriors are leading 9-2. And with Writings going down in that 4th, we'll see who comes out to pitch for your Warriors. They were. Should have been. So it looks like Writings will return for the 4th here. Looked like he just had some cramps
And he's going to look to finish this ball game here, as this should be the last at bat for the Sweetwater Wildcats. And Caden has thrown a really nice game here for the Warriors. And due up for Sweetwater should be number 23. Excuse me. Number 4, Murphy, will be at bat for Sweetwater. And this is just his second at bat, but he grounded out in the first to first base. That ball misses just outside for ball 1. And that ball misses just down for ball 2. And that ball is grounded foul for strike number 1. And so Murphy will have a 2-1 count here in the 4th. Your Warriors lead 9-2. And that ball's swung and missed by Murphy, which will even your count 2-2. As Caden placed that one nicely on the outside half. That was curveball as Murphy stands and watches. Strike 3, and the tag is applied by Correa. The ball hits the dirt, which brings up number 42, Key, for the Wildcats, with 1 out here in the 4th. That ball's down, ball 1. And pitch number 2 is also down for ball 2 as Ridings falls behind. So your Warriors defensively have stayed the same on the field. And that ball swung on and missed by Key. Nice looking little breaking ball there by Ridings. Key swings out of his shoes to try to catch up. And that ball just barely misses outside for ball 3. With a 3-1 count to Key here in the 4th. Riding stows and takes his sign. Set to deliver. That ball is swung on and fouled off. And that will bring us to full count to Key. And as you can see, Ridings is really starting to settle in and find his groove. And that ball is dinked down the line, foul, as Branson hustled over after it, but it was just out of his reach. And so we'll do that one again with the full count and 1 out.
And the payoff pitch is ground ball to Capshaw, who picks it up and tosses over to first for out number 2.
Come on, boys, let's go.
And so 1 out to go for Sweetwater Wildcats. They'll bring to the plate number 99, Tyler Oaks. That ball misses outside on a breaking ball for ball 1. And the pitch. And that ball's behind Oaks. As that ball got away from Ridings. And Oaks takes the advantage at the plate with a 2-0 count here in the 4th with 2 outs, no runners on base. And he comes back with a breaking ball for strike 1. And that ball is fouled off for strike 2 as count evens up 2-2 for Sweetwater. And that ball is fouled down the first base line as Coach Curtis makes a grab from the bucket. And we'll do it again. 2-2 count here in the 4th. That ball's up and outside for ball 3, which will run our count full as Ridings looks to sit Sweetwater down in order here. And that breaking ball just misses down in the dirt for ball 4. And so Sweetwater will have a runner on first with 2 outs here in the 4th, trailing 9-2 as Keith Gentry steps to the plate for Sweetwater. And that ball is grounded as Nolan tries to backhand it and misses. And so you'll have runners on first and second, 2 outs for Sweetwater, which brings Landon Gentry to the plate, who struck out in the 2nd, swinging. And Nolan will hold Sweetwater on at second as that first pitch is just a bit outside for ball 1. I think that ball to Bethel probably could have been picked up. And there's the breaking ball for strike 1, which will even your count at 1-1.
Hit 7.
That ball is swung on and missed by Gentry, which will run your count 1 ball, 2 strikes here in the 4th as Sweetwater's down to their last out. As Ridings delivers. And that ball's poked on as Branson comes over from first and makes the play for out number 3. And your Warriors are victorious 9-2 in 4 innings by a time limit of 1 hour and 40 minutes. That will move your Warriors to 2-0 on the season, and they will play again this weekend on Saturday.